Hey, what's up you guys, it's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to go into chapter 36 of One of Us is Back by Karen and McManus. So let's get right into this video. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, I suggest you click off the video now. You have been warned. Chapter 36, Addie, Tuesday, July 21st. What the hell? Chelsea snapped, staring at me. I don't have the words to say anything back. My heart was beating wildly when Gavin hauled me out of the trunk, afraid that he'd spot the burner phone, and then, read the message, realize that I hadn't said anything to incriminate him, and go back to the parking lot to finish what he started, to finish Nate, assuming that Nate isn't already done. The fear of that made me so nauseated and lightheaded that I could barely register my surroundings. Once I was out of the car, we were in a garage, the small, neat type that's usually attached to a house. The large door was closed behind us, and there was a smaller one out on to our left, possibly close enough to the other houses that somebody could hear me scream, because Gavin kept my gag on until he carried me inside the house. Then he shoved me onto a kitchen chair and unbound my legs, wrists, and finally my mouth while he yelled for Chelsea, and I struggled to catch my breath and figure out my next move. What is she doing here? Chelsea demands. They know, Chels. Rowan found our senior yearbook. Nate came after me while I was giving Addie a ride to Phoebe's place. Phoebe's place? Chelsea interrupts, her eyes boring into mine. Why? I was worried about her, I say. She's not answering her phone, and she's here, Chelsea says. My heart sinks as she adds, but God. She rubs her palms over her cheeks. This is all happening way too fast. Where is Nate? I bashed his head in with a crowbar and left him in the parking lot, Gavin says. I let out a choked sob as Chelsea's mouth drops open. You did what? Nate, he wasn't supposed to get hurt. Well, what the hell do you think I should have done, Chels? They knew, and they were coming for you. It was a spur-of-the-moment decision. You think I wanted that? I told you from the start not to pull that crap with me with the ad campaign and the billboard. You could have flown under the radar with all this, but you just had to make a statement. Gavin throws up aggrieved finger quotes. Now Nate's fucked, and I had to bring Addie along, and Browen knows who we are, so it won't take much time to figure out where we are. This house is in your name. Is Phoebe okay, I ask? Chelsea ignores me, her eyes pinned on Gavin. True, but why would anyone think to come here? If anything, they'd show up at my apartment, but they shouldn't because changing your name isn't a crime. Browen can't prove I did anything else, so who's going to care? Not the baby police, that's for sure. Oh, how I wish she weren't right. Nate's out of our picture, Chelsea continues. Phoebe and Addie are here, so it's continued for now. We still have time. It gives me hope that she lumps Phoebe and me together like that, as though Phoebe too is here against her will, but unhurt. Then my heart gives a relieved leap when Chelsea leaves a dispassionate gaze at me and adds, I guess you can join Phoebe in the downstairs office for the time being. Addie, she said she wanted in on whatever we're planning with Jake, Gavin says. Chelsea snorts. And you believed her? No, but Gavin runs a hand along through his hair. We're kind of screwed here, Chels. People are going to come after us way sooner than you thought. But if we release a video of Addie killing Jake, and if we can make it look like she and Phoebe work together, a shiver goes through me as Chelsea passes a hand over her forehead. Jesus, Gavin, she says. Please stop trying to think. How is that a worse idea than anything you've come up with, he demands. My eyes dart between the two of them as my mind spins. There are cracks here, and I need to try to exploit them. Chelsea's right. That Browen doesn't have much to go on, but Chelsea doesn't know about the burner phone. If my message really did go through, then Browen knows that Nate's been hurt, and she knows where to find him. If she can help him in the time, maybe we have a chance. Can I ask something? I say. Chelsea fixes her gaze on me. Fire away. What really happened to your father? This is about him, right? She nods, eyes flicking toward her boyfriend. Gavin kept saying, we shouldn't tie anything to my dad's job, and okay, yeah, maybe taking over that billboard was a little self-indulgent, but there's nothing wrong with making a statement, she says, her tone turning resentful. Everyone in this town has forgotten my father. It's like he never existed, like his life and his death didn't matter to anyone except me and my brothers. I'm sorry, I say, and despite everything she's done, I mean it. Chelsea takes a deep breath, and I wait for a rant that never comes. Instead, she exhales and regards me with something that could almost pass for affection. Part of me wanted you guys to figure it out. You and your friends have been stuck in the middle of everything that's wrong with Bayview for years, and I'm trying to bring this mess of a town full circle, but I thought it would take you a lot longer, so job well done, I guess. I don't have a response for that. Thank you feels wildly inappropriate, and after a few beats, Chelsea adds, I take it you know the official story of how my father died. The news report said that he drowned, I say. I never believed it was an accident, she says, her face hardening. Dad was an excellent swimmer, but there was never any proof, you know. He'd been there in the water too long to determine anything definitively. The case was closed, we moved away, and I tried to get on with life, even though my father was the only person who ever really got me. I'm sorry, I say again, her lips thin. We all have shit to deal with, right? My mom totally lost it, so I couldn't. Somebody had to hold things together. Chase is useless, and Chris has always lived in his own little world. Then Mom died, and Chase took off for Los Angeles, and Chris and I were by ourselves in the middle of nowhere. I thought, well, I guess this is my life now, until a few months ago when Chelsea trails off, and I'm prompt when what? Her mouth curves into a half smile, and I instantly distrust. You know what, she says. Let's have Jake tell you that. What? My heart jumps into my throat, then trembles into the pit of my stomach. No, I can't. I start to back away, and Gavin seizes both of my arms. He pushes me out of the kitchen toward a staircase that's suddenly looming like a guillotine, coming closer and closer, even though I'm resisting with every cell in my body. I don't want to see him. Don't worry, Chelsea says calmly. He can't hurt you. There's no comfort, but it doesn't matter. The more I struggle, the clearer it becomes that Gavin's going to get me up those stairs whether I want to go or not. I can keep fighting until he's angry and possibly get myself tied up again, or I can conserve my energy. I give in and let Gavin frog march me up the stairs, down a hallway with open doors on either side, all leading to dark, quiet, empty rooms, until we reached a closed door at the very end. Gavin opens the door and shoves me inside in front of him, and then he's pulling it closed behind a fast-moving Chelsea, and I'm looking at Jake. He's tied to his chair, his mouth is covered in duct tape, wearing the same clothes his parents described at the news conference announcing that he'd been missing. A Bayview Wildcats t-shirt and jeans, both looking stained and worse for the wear. His arms are bound behind him, but I can make out the beginnings of the word perfect written across one of them in large block letters. You know the drill, Gavin says. He steps behind Jake and rips the duct tape off so quickly that I wince. Raise your voice, and this goes right back on. For a second, Jake and I just stare at one another. My emotions are churning, fear being taken over by shock, and God, is that pity? Buried somewhere deep inside me, coming out because no matter what he's done, he's another human being, and it's terrifying. And you bitch, Jake snarls. My blossoming pity dissolves like ash in my stomach as Chelsea positions herself beside me. Gavin stands in front of the door, arms crossed like a sentry, and Jake strains against the ropes holding him. Addie has a question, Jake, Chelsea says. I knew you were with them, Jake says, practically spitting the words. If eyes could incinerate, I'd be in flames. Addie wants to know what happened to my father, Chelsea says as if Jake hasn't spoken. How he really died. Something besides rage flickers across Jake's face then, but I can't make it out. Addie can go to hell, he says. Should have known you wouldn't cooperate, Chelsea says. She crosses the only piece of furniture in the room. Besides the chair Jake is tied to, a beat-up dresser that looks like someone put it together without the instructions, opens the top drawer. When she pulls out a gun, Jake inhales as sharply as I do. He hasn't seen that before. I think as his face pales, she's escalating. That thing's not loaded, he says, like he's trying to convince himself. Yes, it is, Chelsea says calmly. I could use it to make you talk, I suppose, but I'm not sure I could stomach your version of the truth, so let me help you along. That is the end of this chapter. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.